Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. We're coming to you live from Money 2020 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joining me for this segment, we have Sikes, Chief Operation Officer of Public.com, to discuss retail investor interest in fixed income. We'll also touch on AI and the impact to the financial services industry. Stephen, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to TradeTalks.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's so interesting. This was last year or the year before. We've been talking about meme stocks. This year, the key theme is fixed income. What has happened over the past 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, it's really been a turnaround in 2 years, I think, as I think back to, again, the meme stock craze in 2021 really pulled a bunch of new investors into the market, right? They started to get excited by the opportunities that were there, and really what we've seen from those same cohorts of investors over the last 2 years is that they've certainly, one, diversified, they've learned a little bit about the markets, they've invested increasingly in ETFs, and then starting more, call it a year ago in late 2022 and into early 2023, we saw a real shift towards fixed income. First in the ETF market, and then in March, we at Public launched the Treasury account. And basically what that is it's making accessing T-bills and a T-bill portfolio as easy as investing in a savings account. And demand has been off the charts. It's been our strongest performing product all year. It is seeing the most flows of any individual asset class or category, and it's really fantastic to see, for the first time in a generation, fixed income really capturing the imagination of retail investors.
Do you think it's retail investors have matured in the market? Is it because of the macro environment? Is it a combination of the two?
It's a great question. I think when I think about retail investor life cycles, many will start on the more speculative end of the spectrum. That'll be the first dollars they put to work will be because they're interested and excited about a particular name, be it Tesla or GameStop or AMC. And then we see behaviors from that audience is definitely a maturation towards, again, investing in more individual equities, investing in broader index funds, passive ETFs, those sorts of things. And I think that's sort of that trend, which includes diversification into fixed income and treasuries and bond ETFs, that falls in more of the maturation bucket. I think at the same time, we absolutely are seeing the macro environment impact retail investors' decisions. I think now, when you can earn 5.5% by investing in T-bills, again, one of the least risky asset classes you can, that's a really attractive value proposition, right? And especially considering the tax advantages, right? You're only paying federal income tax, you're not paying any of your state or local, that's a fantastic product. And I think what we're really interested in seeing is, T-bills are having a moment for sure. As we stay in this higher for longer environment, do we see the same sort of trend flow through corporates, munis, and so on? Because again, those T-bills, again, having the moment, high risk-free rate is getting us there. I still think retail investors are working their way into understanding the corporate and municipal market as well.
Let's switch gears, talk about AI. You just launched an AI tool called Alpha. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Alpha follows in sort of our trend as a company of trying to help our members build as much context as they can about the markets before they make their own investment decisions. And what we saw over the last several months, as sort of we've seen the emergence of ChatGPT and GPT-4 as an opportunity to create a new user interface to take all of the amazing markets data that we have, everything from pricing, market quotes, pricing, to fundamental data, historical charts, to even like research analyst reports and earnings call data, to be able to pull that into a data set and make that available to a model based on GPT-4 that basically lets you open up your phone, click the Ask Alpha button, and you can ask a question about Tesla's earnings last week. I did a demo 2 days ago here at Money 2020 where I literally just opened the app. It was a live demo on my phone, and I started asking Alpha questions about literally Tesla's performance last week, right? And it was off 15%, and we asked Alpha why, and it broke down what really happened in the earnings call, some of the recent news stories, and it creates a new approach for retail investors to stay up on the markets in a quick manner, and again, help build that context.
It's amazing to me how quick these generative AI tools were built. I mean, I know we started talking about this, let's call it November 2022-ish.
Right.
I think it's caught on because it's consumer facing. This isn't what happens behind the scenes, so consumers can identify with this, not even with investing, but with anything else. How do you see AI impacting the financial services industry overall?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there are a couple of fronts that we're really excited about. Obviously, one is continuing to generate really interesting and personalized markets content for our members, right? And so we've started in the chat user interface, but again, I think we can do things like take that same model, layer it on top of the universe of equities in the US, and at any given moment, let our members say, oh, what explains the pricing move I'm seeing in this stock today, right? Why is it moving is sort of a feature we have. And we're going to power, right now that's sort of human curated. And we have to have somebody look at it and write out, hey, why is this moving? What explains this? But AI is going to be tremendously good at gathering all of the news and information about an individual name and really helping retail investors understand what's going on in their portfolio at any given moment. I think that's going to be true across all categories. Again, both in the chat UI and sort of just content generation. I think the second thing is just how investors interact with companies, right? And so that could be both how they interact with us from a customer support perspective. Hey, what's going on with my account? What's going on with my deposit? Again, we can actually build AI as a low-cost layer to deliver answers really quickly that maybe before we had to have a human sort of step in and go do some research and give them answers about why this particular thing happened. Why yesterday they had 1 share of something and today they have 5 shares, or the inverse because of a corporate action that the retail investor wasn't aware of. And again, we can use AI to really build great customer support interfaces. And I think that customer support's the first step on that. The next step will be advice and how individual investors can work with companies and augmented by AI to sort of generate recommendations, get personalized advice about their particular account. Now, that's obviously rife with a ton of interesting compliance and regulatory questions, but I think the march of progress will lead us to a place where, before we know it, we will have AI-enabled experiences for retail investors to really get great personalized advice about what they should do with their account.
Does that mean advisors and customer service and research analysts, do they go away, or does that allow them to work on more complex functions or strategies or in a different way with investors?
I think what it does is it reduces the cost to deliver that advice to increase access to high quality advice, right? I think there will always be limitations in software developed insights, even as advanced as the AI models are. But I think even with those limitations, it'll be a massive boon to customers that, again, can't meet the account balance to say, find an advisor at Morgan Stanley or the like. So, I think I'm really excited about its ability to broaden access to really good financial information, including personalized recommendations.
All right, Stephen, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining
us on TradeTalks. Of course, thanks for having me.
And thanks for joining me from Money 2020. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.